So, folks, yesterday was an absolute train wreck on the world stage. And it is any time that Donald Trump and RFK Jr. step up to a microphone. I know y'all have seen the movie Idiocracy. Most of you have. If you've not, go out of your way to find it. When you watch it now, it was intended to be a comedy when it came out, I think, in 2005. It was intended to be a comedy, but now it's a horror film or it's a documentary. And what we're seeing anytime that RFK Jr. and Donald Trump walks up to a microphone together, we're seeing the prequel to Idiocracy. We're seeing how they ended up in that garbage dump. We're seeing how they ended up just drinking Brando and having a professional wrestler and a porn star for the president. And if you've never seen the movie, watch it, but just brace yourself, because I showed it to my mom. And I said, this was a comedy that came out 20 years ago. And she said, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. How did they get it so right? I'm like, well, so you be the judge when you watch it. But yesterday, Donald Trump went on television with RFK Jr. and with no evidence, he said that Tylenol is what causes autism. And I'm going to play you a clip, and we're going to talk about why that I don't enjoy talking about RFK Jr.
Immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol, during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism.
Yeah, I'm not taking my medical advice from that guy. I'm not going to listen to a word he has to say when it comes to science or when it comes to medicine. And listen, I have difficulty pronouncing words all the time. I'm reading articles to y'all, and sometimes I'll go ahead and tell you that I skip over some words and I'll say, hey, I don't know how to say that. But all I can say is that if Joe Biden had went on national television and had that big of a clusterfuck, I promise you the media would have talked about that for 6 months. If he'd have done that 10 years ago, they'd still be talking about it. And when he says, more commonly known as Tylenol, it reminded me of the time that he said groceries. It's an old-fashioned word, groceries. Do you know why that words like groceries and Tylenol impress this dude so much? Because he's never had to worry about either one of them. The dude has never actually went to the grocery store and bought groceries. Someone brought him the meal and brought him the Big Mac home from the store. He never had to go buy groceries. And he's never, ever in his lifetime, I promise you that man has never handed his kid a Tylenol. When his kid said, Dad, I'm in pain, he's not been the one that ever got him anything to ease that pain. He's never lived just a common life. And yet he's out here speaking for the common man, and it's absolutely disgusting. The only thing that he got right was in this next clip, and just wait for the end, because, this is probably the most truthful thing Trump said at the end of this clip.
$1,300 for a shot of like an Ozempic or I call it the fat pill or the fat drug. Sometimes it works, I guess, for people. The ones I've seen, it hasn't worked so well. I got a lot of friends that have fat. They said, yeah, I lost some weight. I said, you don't look it to me. But they pay $1,300, $1,200, and they go to London and they pay $88. And they call me, they go, what's this all about? We're subsidizing the rest of the world stupidly because there are a lot of stupid people in this country running things. And how big is that? But to me, that's nothing compared to autism.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of stupid people running things, and one of the dumbest people running something is the guy standing behind him, RFK Jr. And I'm not going to play any of RFK Jr.'s clips because I know that I will have so many comments going, Brando, we don't want to hear him talk. And it's got nothing to do with his vocal cords. I would listen to every word that RFK Jr. said if it was meaningful and had some truth behind it, but it doesn't. It's always lies and conspiracy theories, and I'm not going to talk about these things. Here, this is the thing I want you to understand about me. I don't even feel comfortable talking about RFK Jr. because I am not a medical expert, and I want to drive that home. I'm not one. I don't claim to be. You'll never hear me claim to be. Do not ever take your medical advice from me. And do you want to know what medical advice from me would be? Ask somebody else because I don't know. That's my medical advice. Go talk to a doctor. Go talk to an expert. Get their opinion. If you don't like their opinion, go find a second opinion. If you don't like that one, go get a third opinion. But don't ever come back to me and ask me what you think I should do about it, or you should do about it. Because I'm going to tell you, keep asking somebody till you find out the opinion that you think is the one for you. Whenever RFK Jr. is on the stage, it's just like, I'm not going to listen to that guy. I'm not going to take him seriously. He stood up there and said that he's never seen a 70-year-old autistic man, that this is only happening to kids. He acts as though this is just some new thing that just came out. And I'm not an autism expert, never claimed to be, but autistic people have been around as long as time has. And it's absolutely ridiculous that this guy just gets up there and spreads this type of bullshit. And I am going to show you, because I know there's going to be people who says, well, do your own research. Well, if you go over and just start looking at the headlines, I want to show y'all this. I want you to look at this right here. And I'm going to bring this up full screen so you can see it, okay? If you go over and just do a basic Google search for Tylenol, look at these headlines. Trump makes unproven claims linking autism to Tylenol. Trump links autism to Tylenol use during pregnancy. I can say acetaminophen, by the way. Now, my son one time thought that it was saying, he thought it was a seed of medicine. And that I could see that. But anyway, so Tylenol maker shares bounce back. Trump faces pushback. World health officials counter Trump's unproven claim of link between Tylenol and autism. The president is wrong about Tylenol. Trump blames Tylenol for autism. Science doesn't back him. So if you literally go and look up any of this, you'll see that he was absolutely wrong, but he stood up there and said it anyway. He didn't care. And the damage that this does is something that I don't think you can ever fully repair. I truly don't. And my heart goes out to all the parents of autistic children who have put in so much time and effort learning about it, and so much time and effort trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together, only to have these two morons get up there and spread this stuff out into the world. And now they're going to have people, these parents are going to have people walk up to them, hey, I was listening to RFK there, and he said, don't tell your kid not to take no Tylenol. And now they'll act like they're the experts on it. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves in this world. And I know that everyone that Donald Trump put in charge, I know that none of them have any experience at what they're doing. I understand that they're all loyalists, but I always go back and say this. This one has to do with our health, and he put a moron in there. A moron that's just going to go out there and point to these studies and do whatever he can to get ahead in this world. And I can't believe that people actually sit there and entertains it. I'm not a doctor. Neither is RFK Jr. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to RFK Jr. Go find someone that's an expert in their field and listen to them. And if you don't like that opinion, go find another one. Because every time I sit down and talk about RFK Jr., I'm like, I'm talking about a dude with no experience in science and no experience in medicine. And I'm a guy with no experience in science and no experience in medicine. So what's there to talk about? Let's listen to the scientists. Let's listen to the doctors. Let's pay attention to them. Let's ignore this idiot and hope that we can make it to another Democratic president who will put someone with a brain in charge. And then maybe let's just hope also that nothing else hits along the way. Let's hope we never go through any kind of pandemic, because if we do, again, we've got RFK Jr. leading. And that's terrifying. It truly is. But yesterday, to me, was just an absolute slap in the face of autism and autistic children and parents and anyone that's ever dealt with it. And my heart truly does go out to y'all. It does, because I'm a person who I want to learn and educate myself the best that I can about things, and I want to know about things and how they work. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to ever get on here and act like an expert. Like I've always said, I'm just a guy that's reacting to the news. That's what I'm doing. And when I'm reacting to RFK Jr., it's hard for me to even talk about him without getting mad, because I lost two family members, and I've talked about on the channel before. I lost two family members who bought into his anti-vax rhetoric, and their doctor, not me, I wasn't saying anything. I was just saying, listen to your doctor. And the doctor was saying, you two really need to get this because you're candidates for, you know, if you get COVID, we don't think you can bounce back from it. You need this. Their doctors kept trying to drive that in their head. Please do this. And they wouldn't listen. They listened to the likes of RFK Jr. And I buried both their ashes. So it hits home to me. It pisses me off. And it pisses me off that we're living in a world where that guy was given the power of anything. And it's just such a slap in the face of everybody. It truly is. And so, no, I'm never going to take the guy seriously. I don't care how many times Joe Rogan or Bill Maher says, he's really a good guy once you get to know him. I do not have any desire to get to know that dude. Do not care. I looked up to his dad. I looked up to his uncle. And that's as far as it goes. He didn't get any of their character. He didn't get any of their brain. He didn't get any of their integrity at all. And it's just, I've literally, honestly, folks, I'm just being as real as I can in this video. I have literally sat and said to myself a lot of times, do I even want to talk about this dude? Do I even want to bring it up? Because every time I do, I just end up walking away from this camera pissed because we've got such an idiot in charge. And yeah, yesterday was just was an absolute shit show and a slap in the face. And I'm not going to show you RFK Jr. saying anything. You know why I'm not going to play RFK Jr. clips on this channel? Because I don't want to spread misinformation. That's why.